What's up, guys? Happy Friday. Chuck and Smitty here with Occupy Fantasy to bring you the strategy for DraftKings and FanDuel. DraftKings cut off the last two games, wildly different slates on both sites. We'll get into that. Smitty, how we doing?
Good, man. Ready to get into the slate. I think we have a pretty good one on our hands. FanDuel, if you want to play all night, that's where you need to play. But we always have the late slate on DraftKings.
Yeah, and coming off yesterday, I mean, January 2nd, the worst day that we're all going to have in 2025, I hope. So can't get worse than that, right?
Yeah. It can only go up from yesterday.
Before we get into the teams, I want to sort by ownership. I mentioned it's wildly different. At the top end, it's mostly the same. A lot of Stephon Castle, Asar Thompson, Nikola Jokic. Those are three of my highest exposed guys now. Mark Williams is showing up a lot on both sites. Anything else from these top exposed you want to call out?
No, I think it's pretty good.
All right. And then starting by OF index, we got Jokic in the tier by himself up top, as always, followed by Wemby. Wemby looks great today. SGA, Demantis, AD in that next tier. AD, I'm pretty sure, is going to play tonight. Sounds like he's going to play. Bad ankle. And then we got these other guys right after that. DK value, yeah. Keon Ellis, Mark Williams, Stephon Castle. Sar Thompson's a little bit lower, but still one of the top values. See Malik Monk and Trey Lyles in there. Top FanDuel values, yeah. Keon Ellis again. Jalen Wells, man. We'll talk about Jalen Wells when we get to him. Not happy with Jalen Wells right now. A lot of the same guys, though. So, pretty interesting slate. We did get Kyrie ruled out like 15 minutes ago, which I'm glad they gave it to us before the stream. Not sure the model's fully updated for it yet, but hopefully it will be by the time we get to that game. So, let's dive into the first one. I think it's a pretty good one. Charlotte, Detroit. Detroit lost Jaden Ivey for now. I didn't hear where. Do you know if he's out for the season?
They said potentially, but there's kind of rumors they think he could make it back before the end. But why really push him? I mean, it's not like they're really playing for a whole lot.
Yeah, just sit him. Like he's developing, I guess. Let him get healthy. But Charlotte, I already mentioned Mark Williams. So Mark Williams and LaMelo on DraftKings are the only two players I'm getting exposure to here. Are you getting to anyone beyond those two?
Let me pull it up real quick. For Charlotte,
Yeah.
I don't think I was getting to very much Charlotte. Yeah, it's mainly just Mark Williams and LaMelo for me.
Yeah, and it's just a couple percent of LaMelo as a GPP pay up. I don't want to take up a bunch of my point guard spots with this first game. I do want to mix in him and Cade, though. Brandon Miller, Q tag. Do you know if he's leaning towards in? I guess LaMelo's Q also.
Yeah, leaning towards them playing.
Okay, nice. I have them built in. So, any tournament shots on these guys, assuming Brandon Miller's in?
No, not really.
And if go ahead.
Mark Williams' minutes were really good last game, so I'm hoping that trend continues. Someone I want to take advantage of before some other sites catch up to his minutes.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because so in the last three games, he's played 26, 22, 31 against Chicago last time out. We haven't projected for 26 and a half. So I think that's a pretty solid minutes projection. It might even be a minute or two too high because, I'm getting a ton of him. But if we projected him for even like 28, 29 minutes, I'd probably get close to 100% of him. So this is probably fine. And he's showing up as one of the top values overall on both sites. 9.8 OF index at his price is excellent. So do you anticipate him coming in higher owned than this 20% and 11%?
I don't, just because I expect people to want to get to Jokic, Wemby, and some other options.
Nice. Other side of this game, we have Detroit getting a little bit more exposure here. We'll take a look at the usage numbers without Jaden Ivey in just a moment. But I already mentioned Asar Thompson. Tobias Harris is 4,900 on DraftKings. Very dumb. What do you want to do with Detroit?
Yeah, I think Detroit looks pretty good here. They're missing Ivy. It's a lot of minutes to go around. Um, Cade, to me, looks like one of the better spend ups on the slate. I like going there. He's priced up, but he also has deserved it. Now he gets no Ivy, potentially gets a couple more minutes, and the usage is going to be there. And then I think Tobias is just too cheap on DraftKings, so I like getting to him there. Asar Thompson's too cheap on both sites. I think he's a good play on both sites. His minutes have started to ramp up, so I feel a little better about that. Isaiah Stewart's kind of a deep punt, but Malik Beasley is someone that I like in tournaments.
Nice. And so Jaden Ivey off the court and Cade Cunningham on the court this season. Cade Cunningham has a 34% usage rate in 500 minutes. Very, very elite. It's probably top 10 in the NBA. I think last time I looked, number one was like 38%. It was LaMelo. So very good 34% usage rate for Cade. Malik Beasley, 22.5% usage rate. Smitty's big fan of Malik Beasley. We like that a lot. And then Asar Thompson, 23% usage rate. It's only 100 minutes, much smaller sample, but that is a lot higher than I would expect for a player like Asar Thompson. Because I think of how does he get there? Stocks, a couple rebounds, maybe he scores just a few points. But if he's taking up 23% usage in addition to, all the other ways he can get there, I think it's just Asar Thompson. He just looks really, really good today.
Yeah, he'll be one of my highest exposed players, especially on DraftKings.
And then Ron Holland, is he kind of a pivot to Asar Thompson, or do you want to mix him in alongside of him?
Yeah, I don't even mind playing them together, but yeah, I think Holland makes some sense here. This could be a chance for him to kind of show out.
Yeah, I'll point out Holland has a 20% usage rate in his 175 minutes in that situation, which is really strong. Only got 10 minutes in the previous game, so it's just a matter of minutes. We haven't projected for 16, so that's pretty good. If he plays 16 minutes, we're not going to be very happy with it. But if he plays well, we've seen him get 20 plus in situations like this. So keep an eye on this because it's going to be important going forward since Jaden Ivey is going to be out for a while.
Yep.
Anything on maybe Jalen Duren or Isaiah Stewart?
Yeah, I don't mind Isaiah Stewart on DraftKings where he's basically min price, but I don't have a ton of interest in Duren.
And then how much Tobias did you mention you were getting to on DraftKings? I had to turn him down, and I'm still getting a pretty decent amount.
I have 28% right now.
Okay. It's more than me. Yeah, I was up even higher than that earlier. I guess I'm going to be below the field now, but his price is just really good. And I mean, his usage rate in this situation, 16%. Remember, 20% is league average. So 16 is really bad for a player like Tobias, but he only costs 4,900. So that makes up for it.
Yeah, such a good matchup. Tight spread, too.
What's up, Heath? Good to see you, my man. Unicorn Love, good evening. Yes, money time yesterday. Jose, trust me, we were not happy yesterday. Power, yeah. Cleveland Dallas spread only plus 9.5. I mean, there was a game a few games ago. What was it? OKC versus Grizzlies. And I was like, dude, Vegas is smarter than us. They think it's close. I feel differently about this one. I could see a world where Dallas actually keeps it close to this 9.5 point spread. I mean, you're not projecting blowout for this game, are you?
No, I did before Kyrie was out. I already bet Cleveland, so either way, I was on Cleveland. But I mean, they might not blow them out.
Yeah, it's just like Dallas. This is not a good team without Kyrie or Luka, but I could see it. What's up, Kadiri? Happy Friday, man! First Friday of the new year. LaMelo went through shoot around. Brandon Miller wasn't there. Yeah, it doesn't mean much, but it is helpful. We'll keep that in mind. Thanks for letting us know, Power. Always appreciate your updates in the chat. Thuggin. Yeah, we'll show you the top Yahoo values while I run through these last few questions. Yeah, Jalen Wells, Quentin Grimes, Keon Ellis, Dinwiddie, Dean Wade, Luke Kennard. Good luck, man.
Quentin Grimes.
Yeah, Quentin Grimes. We'll talk about Quentin Grimes. Pretty low owned compared to everyone else. Price is up, but I mean, now I imagine this ownership's going to come up too. Getting to Herbert Jones at all? Yeah, we'll talk about him when we get to New Orleans. I know I was getting a decent amount of my exposures, though. Tobias Scaris. Yeah, man, except when he scores 30 plus and then he's Tobias. I'm not quick enough, sorry. Let's jump to the next game, though. Orlando, Toronto. Orlando's a little bit interesting. What do you see here?
Let me see. Yeah, I think Goga looks pretty interesting. He's priced up now, so he kind of has some sticker shock, but the field's still getting there. I still think he's a pretty good play. And then Wendell Carter alongside him. I don't hate getting there on DraftKings where he has power forward eligibility. 18% on FanDuel seems pretty aggressive to me, but KCP, I think he looks fine as a filler option. Then a lot of these guys are just GPP shots. Like you could take shots on Anthony Black, which I don't hate, and then Suggs on FanDuel looks okay.
So what I'll point out is the model's not really giving anyone else a play here. Maybe Goga, close to a double-digit OF index at his price is pretty strong. Jalen Suggs GPP play as well. Beyond that, though, I mean, it's giving us Wendell Carter as a value projected for 28 minutes. Has he been playing? It doesn't feel like he's been playing 28 minutes, but to be fair, I haven't been keeping an eye on him. Wendell Carter last few games. Yeah, I guess he has been 34, 27. So the 28-minute projection might be pretty strong. At 5K, it's projected for actually pretty high ownership, I think, 17 and 19%. Were you getting to Wendell Carter?
No, not really. I have 3% right now.
Yeah, I have 4% on DraftKings, 1% on FanDuel. I don't think that's going to change. I haven't updated for Kyrie news. I did everything. My lineups were set, and then Kyrie got ruled out. But yeah, and I actually bumped Wendell Carter up on DraftKings. I gave him one extra minute, and I still only got 4%. But do you see him as a viable pivot to Goga? Or, I mean, it's okay, obviously, just to not play either of them, too.
Yeah, I think Wendell looks fine. I don't mind it.
Jonathan Isaac, I'm just crossing this guy out every day. If there's a game that I need to have him, I'm okay with it. Because it's like I'm only getting a few percent, but I just hate it so much. I'd rather save the exposure for later. Maybe something else pops up or get to a Dallas guy.
Yeah, he has no ceiling. I mean, I don't want to say he don't have a ceiling, but he's just not going to play the minutes.
Say after Wendell Carter for DK value, KCP, Goga are fine. And then on FanDuel, yeah, same thing. KCP, Goga, and even Jalen Suggs is okay over there. I wanted to ask you about Tristan Da Silva because he's only pulling 1% and 3% ownership. If I'm not mistaken, he was a little chalkier last time out. I was getting some and I said, no, this is dumb. So I took him out, worked out. Today I'm getting some again. And I think that we'll find other spots. It's the ceiling that I question here, really.
Yeah, I agree there. His minutes have kind of been trending downwards as well. And then Anthony Black's back now, so I don't really trust the minutes for him. I think they'll still be pretty decent, but as far as his minute ceiling and his actual ceiling, I kind of question it.
And he's not like super high owned or anything. He's only a few percent. So it's not someone that we have to avoid. But if he shows up, I feel like we could just find much better spots. The thing is, his salary works and his median projection is probably okay.
Yeah, it's just an early game. You're locking up a spot.
Is that your phone vibrating from all the underdog notifications?
Oh, LaMelo and Brandon Miller are out. Fun.
Yeah. Cody Martin's in, and Daquan Jeffries ruled out. It's funny because I know someone asked about him on a day that he actually had a good game, and because it's like, why would we play Daquan Jeffries? But
man,
yeah, we'll have to wait a few minutes and come back to Charlotte.
Slate changing.
Yeah, especially in the first game.
Yeah. Simpson's out too. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he's not.
Oh, is it Micic Day again? I missed the last Micic Day. I heard he got there in overtime.
4,900. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's going to be Micic Day. We'll figure that out in a few minutes, fellas. Let's talk about Toronto for a moment. No RJ Barrett. I think that's it, right? Just no RJ?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what do you want to do with Toronto?
I want to play Manuel.
Uh-oh.
Really good play. On FanDuel, I'm getting there a little bit more just because he has shooting guard eligibility. But they told us he had a minutes cap last time out, and wasn't really true. So I expect him to be somewhat full, not completely full, but we have him for pretty much 33 minutes, and that's about what I have him for too. So I like going there. Other than that, I don't really love anyone on this team.
Yeah, quickly he was 5,500 on FanDuel last time, just broken price. DraftKings didn't price him up 6,900. This is probably the appropriate or close to the appropriate price anyway. Might still be a little bit cheap. If we can project him for over 30 minutes, that's pretty big. Looks like I'm with the field on both sides on quickly right now. Then Scotty Barnes on the top end. This is a pay up. We don't have many pay ups. It's against Orlando, the team I like to target. One of the teams I like to target the least, but he's projected for 0% and 2% ownership. I think he just had a 60 ball. Any interest in Scotty Barnes at all?
Yeah, he actually looked really good last game, which was good to see, but don't really love it. I guess if you had like all chalk in your lineup and instead of playing I know they're not the same price, but I guess you could say LeBron. Instead of playing LeBron, you play Scotty. I mean, I don't hate that.
So the sample that we have with RJ Barrett off and Quickly and Barnes on, it's only 40 minutes, so very small sample. It's 2 games worth. So I don't even know if we can take directional stuff from this, but in those 2 games, Quickly had a 30% usage. One of them was the previous game. Quickly had a 30% usage. He had 15 assists last game, so that makes sense. Scotty Barnes, only 25% usage over those 2 games, but this was one of them, the Brooklyn game where he put up that 64. Grady Dick, 23% usage. Again, very small samples, so hard to take too much from that, but those all seem pretty solid. I mean, Scotty's is low, but quickly just had the ball in his hands the whole game.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Boston, Houston. So Boston, did we get an update on Kristaps or Jaylen Brown?
No, we haven't. I don't think.
Did you? I mean, I have them in right now. Do you have any lean on those two though?
I have a lean that Porzingis is in. I think they just rested him yesterday so he could play today, and then they rule out Horford out like normal. Jaylen Brown's the one that I'm not 100% sure just because he's had this Q tag for a while now. It seems to be lingering, so I don't know if they want to push him back here or not. But I have him in right now. I'm just building with him as in. So I'm not getting to a ton of Boston. I have a couple percent of Tatum, but other than that, unless we get Jaylen Brown out, I don't have a ton of interest.
Dude, between both sites, I have one lineup with a Celtic, and it's Kristaps Porzingis on DraftKings. I have zero exposure to this team.
Yeah, they're pretty much fully healthy, so kind of tough.
I mean, just go ahead.
I really thought Drew would sit this game, so maybe we get a late Q tag, but pretty surprising. He played so many minutes last night. Normally he would rest the next day.
Yeah, so neither of us are getting much Boston. Going by OF index, Tatum 12.4 at his price is good, not great. Jaylen Brown 10.2 OF index if he plays at his price. Again, good, not great. It's just we have better options on the slate. Derek White and Kristaps, about a 9 OF index is fine at their price. TK value, Drew Holiday looks good. No one else does. FD value, Drew Holiday looks okay. No one else does. So, yeah, I mean, this team is just tournament plays. But like I said, I don't even know if I'm going to take shots. If someone is ruled out, then yeah, definitely we're going to change our minds on that. But overall, it's just not looking like a good spot. I mean, just all their prices are appropriate, right?
Yep. Yeah, and they're going against one of the better defensive teams.
And Houston actually has a few players that were very interested. Amin Thompson suspended for throwing Tyler Herro to the ground, one of the greatest fights I've ever seen in the NBA. The primary beneficiary, I'm assuming, is going to be Cam Whitmore, but let me know what you think about that.
It's Whitmore for me with him being out, and Eason's also out, so just more minutes to go around for Whitmore. I don't know if you've seen the recent interview with Whitmore or not, or have you heard about it?
No.
He got interviewed after the last game where he had a really good game, and he basically said, like, they were like, you did a good job helping your team win, and he said, yeah. He said, I'm just not getting enough minutes, basically is what he said. So there was some push and pull there, so we'll see what happens with that, but I like Whitmore still. And then the rest of this team all looks pretty good. Fred VanVleet, I think he's playable, and then Jalen Green, I think, looks pretty solid as well.
Yep, Jalen Green, 9.4 OF index at this mid 6K price is really strong, under 10%. This is the GPP play from Houston that the model's giving us today anyway. Strong value scores too, projected for 35.5 minutes. Jabari Smith with no Amin Thompson. This is a guy I think you and I have both been trying to be over the field on today. I have him in my exposures, but I'm not much more than this.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Dylan Brooks is a guy I'm curious your opinion on. Yeah, what do we do with Dylan Brooks? I'm playing him.
Yeah, I like him at 3 and 5% owned. I think it's probably too low. We have him for 37 minutes, and he's pretty productive when he's out there as well.
And if I'm not mistaken, this 37 minutes is slightly higher than the rest of the industry. And so that probably leads to me being over the field on Dylan Brooks. Who did he lock up the other day? He's the best defensive player on star players. Kyrie. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, this is a real stat. He is the number one defensive player on All-Stars.
Yeah, I think Kyrie was he started out like 0 of 8 or something crazy like that.
And now he wants to sit today because he's scared of Darius on the other side. Fred VanVleet, 9.6 OF index at his price is it's good. I don't mind taking shots there. And then Sengun, top play from this team in terms of raw projection value anyway. 9,400, 9,100 at modest ownership. I'm getting there a little bit. I'm not even at this 8 and 10% though, but he's showing up in my exposures.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. Did you like Whitmore? Do you plan on getting overweight on him?
I'm way overweight on Whitmore. Okay. Yeah, he's one of my favorite plays today.
Me too. I feel like the industry is just too low on him. I don't understand why.
Yeah, this ownership projection here, 13 and 4%. Even on FanDuel, I'm over the because on DraftKings, I have like 50% Whitmore right now. By the time that game starts, I don't know if I'll still have that. Hopefully, well, that'll change actually once I update for Dallas. But point is, I'll be over on Whitmore. My FanDuel tab won't load. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, and with that news, I mean, it probably comes down even more in terms of ownership.
Yeah, I'm at a 20% Whitmore over on FanDuel right now. And so maybe that comes down a little bit, but it looks like I will be double digits. So pretty far over the field on him there. And then just getting a few percent of everyone else. I bumped Dylan Brooks. I gave him an extra minute because I really like him today.
Yeah.
Let's see. Top values on FanDuel. I'll flash them on the screen one more time while we're going through some questions. You need a good showdown lineup for which game? It's the last one. I usually don't build my showdown lineups until like right before the game starts, so I don't have anything for you there. Yeah, Miller out, LaMelo out. LaMelo's out to celebrate LiAngelo's single dropping. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
It's something like maybe he played a snippet of it on something, but then people really liked it and they've been asking him to drop it for real. And it's like, all right, I didn't hear it, so I don't know if it's good or if people are trolling. Is Quickly starting? I'd be very surprised if Quickly didn't start. He should, yeah. The last thing you want is Jalen Suggs D on any guard. It's a good point. Champagne from Washington. Is this the next game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think Suggs has gotten the credit he deserves this year.
No, last year they kind of gave him his flowers because he was cited as a top 5 defensive player in basically every metric for guards.
Yeah.
Jonathan Isaac was also top 5 at his position, but just doesn't play enough minutes. Anthony Black got ruled out too, by the way.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, give me 1 second to catch up on this stuff. Harrow should be suspended for getting punked like that. Yeah, but did you hear the sick line he had? Go home, bro. You lost. He won. You lost the fight, but he won the war.
Yeah, Almond seems like a dude I wouldn't want to mess with.
No, I probably wouldn't fight him or his brother, dude.
No.
Champagne. All right, let's jump to this Washington game because I actually did like Champagne. He was a guy I was going to point out earlier. No Koulibaly. Who else was missing? One other player was out for Washington. My tab won't load. Marvin Bagley and Sadiq Bey. So stuff doesn't really matter, I guess. So it's basically just Bilal Koulibaly out today. They're kind of priced up a little bit. The rest of these Washington guys, at least Brogdon and Poole, are. Are you getting much exposure here?
Yeah. Not much, but I'm getting to some Joval, and then all the rest are kind of mixed in for me. But I do like Champagne. I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, just he's the guy that I kind of like taking as a tournament shot whenever anyone is out in the starting lineup. This worked out a couple times that we called this out on this show before. He's projected for 6 and 16% ownership. He's 5K flat. I think it's fine. We do have like Cam Whitmore, Stephon Castle. I can't remember if he's small for it, but we do have like other value options. So his ownership's not going to jump up at all. But for the Washington Wizards, I actually don't. Let me pull their usage up. Go ahead.
Yeah, with us getting, well, I don't know if you are, but I plan on getting to quite a bit of Pelicans. So I think it makes a lot of sense to get into some of these Washington guys and kind of force them into some of your lineups.
I'm over on the Pels too. Yeah. So I'm getting there. Let me see. I mean, just sorting by OF index, Jordan Poole, double digit OF index at the 8,200 is fine. At 2%, we can definitely mix him in. I mean, Sar is getting a little expensive for me. The player I'm getting the most of on this team by far is Jonas Valanciunas. I'm assuming he comes off the bench. We haven't projected for 20 minutes. The 5,100 on DraftKings. I mean, this guy has just been putting up ceilings in his 12 minutes every single day.
Yeah, it's also a revenge spot for him.
Oh man, he hates New Orleans. I feel like Jonas would probably hate every team he's ever played for, especially Washington. Like,
Yeah.
look at this dude. This guy could probably be putting up Jokic numbers if he just played a little bit of defense and managed to play 30 plus minutes, but
Yep.
Nope, he doesn't want to do it. Let me see if there's anything else here. I mean, sorting by DK value, Valanciunas is showing up as a top. Not spectacular, though, for the 5,100, just good. And then on FanDuel, yeah, no one's really standing out, but I think we can get a few percent. You mentioned you like New Orleans a little bit, so what's the starting point here?
Yeah, let me pull them up in the model real quick. But for me, it's the two guards to start with, DeJounte and CJ. I think they both look really good. DeJounte, DeJounte, I'm getting to more of on FanDuel. And then DraftKings, I'm getting to more CJ just because of the price discrepancy. But
Same.
starting with them, and then Trey Murphy, I think, is an awesome play as well. Trying to figure out what kind of groups I want for them, but all three of them, I think, have three of the higher ceilings on this slate in their price range. And it don't stop. I got a lot of Misi as well, so I think he's a pretty good play too.
Sorting by OF index, we got three guys in double digits. Trey Murphy at 7,300 is definitely the one that catches my eye. Also playing a lot of, I'm like you, I have more DeJounte on FanDuel, more CJ on DraftKings, just due to the price. That's it. Misi's still showing up with a strong OF index, highest DK value on the team, highest FD value on the team, but Trey Murphy, DeJounte, CJ, and even Herb Jones, I mean, he's never really going to look great in the model. When we're playing Herb Jones, we're really just hoping he gets a lot of minutes and gets a bunch of stocks. I will say this ownership seems a little high, though, no?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm a little under that mark. I still think he looks okay, but especially on FanDuel, I think that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, just find we have enough value today. Honestly, just find the extra 2K and get to Trey Murphy. The model's giving us him as a much stronger play.
Yep.
All right, let's see. Savage, always look forward to having you, man. Appreciate it. What do we think of Dort tonight? As long as Dort's under 5K, I'm going to be interested in playing him pretty much every night.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Cole Anthony real quick. Back to Orlando. I guess we forgot to mention him. It's an easy guy to forget, right? We have him projected for 13 minutes. Very, very, very volatile minutes. If he comes in, he has a bad rotation. We're never going to see him again. If he comes in and hits like 3 shots in a row, it probably finishes the game. So 13, 17, 6 minutes in his last few games. I mean, he had that 60-point game, 62 and a half DK points in 28 minutes, and we've all been chasing him since. Is this worth shots?
Yeah, with Anthony Blackout, I think you could take shots there, but not really. I mean, there's other value on this slate I'm definitely more confident in, but if he comes in 1-2% owned, I don't hate it.
Yeah, this might be like the deep value play you mix in those largest tournaments, because it's like the 4,800 price doesn't really matter. We're playing him hoping he puts up that mega ceiling, which if he does, who cares what we're paying for him?
Yep.
Any interest in KCP? Yep. Leangelo track is hot if you're into the Madden 05 soundtrack. Nick, I came up on the Madden 05 soundtrack, man. Need a cheap center? Mark Williams. Let's just take a look at what other centers we have by DK value. Mark Williams, yeah, number one. It's not even close. It's a little different per each slate, but other guys, Goga, we can pay up for Jokic. DeMantis looks good on FanDuel. Wendell Carter, I think he's a pivot. The 21% seems a little high on this slate. Cade Cunningham should be good tonight. Hope so. Where are we at? New York Knicks versus OKC. Did you have a lean on Brunson?
Yeah, I kind of just think that they're playing.
Yeah, I assume Brunson's going to be in. He got ruled out pretty late last time, and then McBride. I don't know if we can ever play him again after what he did to us last time.
They did keep Kolek, so it's possible one of them sits, but I kind of lean it would be McBride over anyone else.
So if Brunson's in, I have Brunson in my exposures right now. I have 0% exposure to this team.
Yeah, same here. I'm not really getting into any.
It's a tough matchup against OKC. I will say it's projected to be a close game, which is good for both of these teams because we know that, well, for OKC anyway, sometimes the minutes are light. But if Brunson is ruled out, we know that Josh Hart and Cat get the biggest usage bumps. And then I think for now we have to assume Campaign is going to be the guy to get most of the point guard minutes because McBride hurt his hamstring in warmups or something like that. So we'll take a look at them. But yeah, if Brunson's in, I'm not seeing much from this team. Maybe we can take shots on Cat as a pay up as kind of a pivot off of Jokic.
Yeah, I don't hate taking shots on Cat. 4 and 2% owned seems a little light for him.
Other side of this game, OKC. We have one of the top plays on the model in SGA. Not much else though. What do you like from OKC?
Let me pull up my exposures. I'm not really getting to any OKC on DraftKings, but um, someone shouted out Dort. I think he's too cheap on DraftKings. I still don't mind going there. And then it's SGA if you can afford him, and Jalen Williams for me.
Yeah, I feel like Dort and Kason Wallace are two guys I'm kind of forcing in every day because the model is giving us two of the top values on DraftKings today. As long as they're around 4K, reasonable ownership, I don't mind mixing them in.
Yeah, same here.
Kason, I need to bump Kason a little bit more. Jalen Williams, what a disappointment, right? Without Chet, I thought this guy was going to break best ball. No, letting us down in DFS every single night. He won us a tournament once this whole season. 83 and 8400 under 10% ownership. We have him projected for 34 minutes. I don't know that he has a potential to play more, even in a very close game. Like, I want to have interest in Jalen Williams, but it's really hard to actually give exposure to him.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
This is so bad, dude. Like, if we got 38 minutes and you told me for a fact he was playing 38 minutes in this game tonight, I would probably play a lot of him.
Yep.
But it's just tough. Even honestly, the 34 we have him projected for, that even feels slightly aggressive to me. Maybe it's correct, though, in a close game.
Yeah, and they're on the back end of a back-to-back, too.
Sorting by OF index. Jalen Williams, though, still double-digit OF index, which is good. Isaiah Hartenstein, pretty close at 3 and 2%. I'm not as interested in him now as I was before. And I'll point out SGA, very strong OF index, very low ownership. We have the value at this position. I think we have some value at this position. So maybe it's kind of a contrarian lineup construction to pay up at point guard and, I don't know, pay down at center, I guess, if a lot of the field's going to go to Jokic.
Yeah.
Let's see. Would Cat and Wemby be a risky lineup? Probably, yeah. But if that's where you land, that's where you land. Like, if I'm hand building, I get it's not intuitive to do that. But if the builder gives me that, I usually just say, okay. How's Miles Bridges look tonight? The problem is his price. 7,700 on both sites. Now, with LaMelo and Brandon Miller ruled out, let's take a look back at Charlotte, actually, since this is the first game. It looks like the model's updated. Mark Williams, double-digit OF index at 5,500, dude. This is one of the top plays on the slate. Like, I don't know that he actually gets a direct boost from Miller and LaMelo being out, but he already looked good. And then Miles Bridges, max price at just under 20% ownership. Have you updated your stuff? Do you know if you're getting there?
Let me see.
I haven't rebuilt, so I have no idea. And just a quick notification. Jose Alvarado is back today. He's going to be on a minutes limit. Maybe it takes a minute away from like CJ or DeJounte, but I'm not really going to adjust much for that. Should already be in here.
Yeah, I did a rebuild. I'm getting to some Bridges. I'm getting to more Mark Williams than I was before. And then getting to a little bit of Micic, not as much as I thought I would, which I'm pretty happy to see. I have 15% right now, which I'd be fine with. A little bit of Curry, and then I have one lineup with KJ Simpson.
Nice. Okay. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't rebuild till the show ends, guys. Sorry, but we do have, who's in the Discord? Jayhawk in our Discord Q&A today. That'll start in about 10, 15 minutes. Instructions to join that are in the description below. Just a little bit more intimate setting. He's just going to repeat the same things that we did, but from a different perspective. Let me see what we have here. What do I even have up on the screen? Miles Bridges. Bridges or Hart? I mean, if Brunson's in, I have to think that Bridges is like the logical choice, but Hart's been on a tear recently, even with Brunson in, so. Anunoby's been killing you. Yeah, it's tough because like these guys are switching off every night. Him, Mikhail, Josh Hart. Tari Eason did get ruled out, so that just reinforces the Cam Whitmore minutes.
Yep.
What's the next game? Cleveland, Dallas. Yeah, let's wrap up this slate. So, what are we at? Maybe a 10-point spread now? 9.5. I'm playing it as if this game is not going to be a blowout. I like Donovan. Not really getting to too much else from this side, though.
Yeah, for me, it's Garland and Donovan. I think they both look good. Probably wouldn't play them together unless you have multiple Dallas pieces, but Garland at his price, I think he looks like a mid-range guard that helps a lot on this slate. And then other than that, I'm getting to a little bit of Mobley and I have a couple lineups with Jared Allen, but I don't think anyone stands out as a must play. Mainly just GPP plays.
Yeah, I'm actually getting no exposure to this team on FanDuel. Makes sense. We have two more games that I'm getting a lot of exposure to, but on DraftKings, I'm getting pretty much everybody here, just a few percent.
Yep.
Other side, Dallas. Yeah, let's take a look at Dallas. Now, with Kyrie and Luka off the court, Spencer Dinwiddie in 210 minutes has a 24% usage rate, very strong. PJ Washington, 24% usage rate. Jaden Hardy, 28% usage rate, but his minutes are probably the most volatile out of this group. Najee Marshall, 28% usage rate, elite. There was one more. Klay Thompson, 24% usage rate, and then the bigs are the bigs. So no Luka, no Kyrie. What's the starting point on Dallas?
Yeah. I'm getting to the most of Clay right now, which don't feel good. I'll have to change that. But I think Grimes is overall probably my favorite play here. And PJ Washington's questionable, but if he's in, I'll like PJ as well. Those would probably be my two favorite plays with price considered. But Dinwiddie on FanDuel is a little different. I would prefer Dinwiddie over all those on FanDuel where he's 5,800. DraftKings is just a little harder to get there with point guard only, and he's kind of priced where he should be.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you on pretty much everything there. Just point out Dinwiddie, 9.3 off index at his price is strong. Same with PJ and Quentin Grimes. Top value by the model. Quentin Grimes on DK, Spencer Dinwiddie on FanDuel. Pretty happy to get to everyone here. Even like Jaden Hardy, you got to be careful. He's going to be very low owned. He probably comes in more than this 2 and 3%, but he's probably a pretty good GPP value since
Gosh,
we have like pretty clear. Oh no,
did you see
we have
that?
Jabari Smith to miss 4 to 8 weeks randomly.
Cam Whitmore is not going to be low owned anymore.
He's probably the lock of the. He's probably the closest player to a lock now today. Cam Whitmore.
Oh yeah.
It's just good minutes for everyone else too. Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can pull up that usage. Anything else on Dallas?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
Jaden Hardy, if you're looking for a GPP play, I think he's definitely worth some shots.
Yeah.
High upside, really low floor.
Other side. Okay, we already got Cleveland. Nice. Last game on the DK slate, San Antonio and Denver has the top two OF index plays of the day, Jokic and Wemby. Pretty sure Wemby's OF index actually just went up. I think it was only 15.9. But getting exposure to both of these guys, both of these teams on both sides, actually a lot of exposure to the Spurs. Let's start with them. What are you doing with the Spurs?
Yeah, I have a ton of Spurs. Not FanDuel, DraftKings. I have a lot of Wemby, more than I expected to get to, which I'm happy with. I have a lot of Stephon Castle, more than the field, and he's 3,400. When he was previously starting, he was 5,500, so he's about 2,100 underpriced. I think he looks good, and then Devin Vassell, I think, looks really, really good. And then Keldon, Champagne, and Barnes are kind of just in a bucket for me, and I like mixing all of them in.
So with Stephon Castle, I saw wildly different projections for him across the industry earlier. I have to think that some sites expected him to start and some sites didn't. Like you mentioned, like he's going to start tonight, right?
Yeah, I expect him to start. That's how it was when Sohan was out.
Yeah, we haven't projected for 28 minutes, and so I mean, I'm just going to get all of the Castle on DraftKings, and then on FanDuel, I'm actually not that far over the field on FanDuel. Maybe that'll change.
Yeah.
I think it's a position, though, because he's point guard, shooting guard on DraftKings, too, yeah. I guess we just have a lot of good point guards on FanDuel, because I'm getting a lot of Chris Paul. He looks okay in the model. 8.6 OF index at his price is pretty good, and then Vassell, 9.2 OF index at his price is still pretty good, so... Chris Paul surprised that he's under 10%. I've mentioned it on stream every day. Like I'm just always going to be over the field on Chris Paul. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to actually bump him a little bit because I think everyone's just kind of too low on his minutes.
And then the other Champagne, we do like his brother in Washington, but Julian's a little bit cheaper over here. Modest ownership. I really like him as a GPP play here.
Yeah, I like him as well. I think his ownership probably comes down now, especially if Whitmore starts. So I think it's pretty good to get overweight on him.
Yeah, just this whole game looks pretty good, and it's a modest spread. 6 points is not too bad. And on the other side, we have Jokic, Jamal, Russell Westbrook, all strong. I mean, Russell Westbrook, 6,600 with a 10.4 OF index, really strong value. we have 4 guys on this team with really strong DK values: Russ, Jokic, Murray, and Christian Brown. And that's not even including Michael Porter Jr., who has a 9.0 OF index at his price. So I think this is such a great game to target on both sides.
Yeah, easily looks like the best game, at least for DraftKings. I think Russ looks solid. Jamal actually looks pretty good. He's under 8K. I think he looks pretty solid. Overall, this team just looks really good.
How are we handling balancing? Like, because we have all the value to pay up for Jokic today. He's 13K on FanDuel, new season high score. Not really getting as much over there. Maybe I'll try and force him in because no one wants to play him. I mean, we had a discussion on a previous stream not too long ago about how hard it is for these expensive guys to get in the winning lineup. That night it was about Wemby. Someone said Wemby has to get 70 to be in the winning lineup. Guess what? He put up like 58 and he was in the winning lineup that night. So that's why it's important not to think about that stuff because it's going to lead to mistakes. Just make the best lineup you can. We have good enough value tonight. All these value guys can hit ceiling scores, and all you need is the raw points from a Jokic or a Wemby. So 40% on DK, I get it. I'm over that. The 5% on FanDuel, I'm just slightly over that.
Yeah, I would like to make it a point to get a little more Jokic on FanDuel, but DraftKings, I'm around the field, kind of where I want to be, but it might come up now with some more value on the slate.
Saw a question about Bane. So we're done with DraftKings. This is for now DraftKings night slate, and then these 2 games are on the FanDuel main. But yeah, Bane, 9.8 OF index. Talk about how freaking disappointing this guy's been sometimes. But I think he's GPP. Jaren Jackson to me is the top play on the team, as the model is giving us that. But what do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting to the most of Bane right now. Bane and Jaren Jackson. I kind of have the same amount of both. I think they both look pretty good. I prefer going to Jaren Jackson though, and then Jalen Wells is a value on FanDuel. Seems whatever, but I probably won't play very much of him now that we have Cam Whitmore. And then Scottie Pippen, I think, is underowned.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen his minutes have been bad because he's been playing poorly. It's like, who can take Scotty's minutes? Luke Kennard. But 7% ownership, it's kind of dramatic. We only have him projected for 24 minutes. I'd like to get over on Scottie Pippen. This is a beyond the model thing where it's just maybe he doesn't start off the game playing like tonight and he can stay on the court.
Yep.
I'd like to get away from Jalen Wells as well. But right now, I do have a bunch. This is a late game on FanDuel. So hopefully, if I go into lock with that, I'll end up swapping off of it. And I'll point out Zach Edey, 8.6 OF index. Like, someone was asking about a cheap center earlier. DK night slate, whatever. But 6,100 on FanDuel. This is the pivot off of Mark Williams at 1% ownership.
Yeah, I agree. I like Edey. He is a game time decision, but as long as he's in, I think he looks good.
And then Luke Kennard, honestly, at the 4,500, if you're not playing Scottie Pippen, this is probably close to the appropriate price for him. No one wants to play him at 2%. We do have other strong value at shooting guard, point guard, so he is a pivot. Probably a good play on the DK night slate, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's wrap up these last 2 games as quickly as possible. For the Kings, Keegan Murray's doubtful, and I'm getting a ton of Sabonis. What are you getting from Sacramento?
Let me see. Yeah, I'm getting to a lot of Sabonis as well. And Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, I think, look pretty good. Keon Ellis, I'm a little bit less than the field on, and I'm pretty happy there.
Keon Ellis is the number 1 value play on both sites today. Crushing DK value. So DK night slate, assuming he's starting, probably just have to lock him. FanDuel, 4,100, he is pulling the ownership. And so if you go into lock with this guy in a ton of your exposures, maybe you end up swapping off, some other stuff happens. But model's telling us we can just play all of them if we want to.
Yeah, I'm going into lock with him, but I'm hoping some of that gets changed.
Demantis, very strong OF index for 8,800 on DK. Yeah, on the night slate, again, we're jamming in Demantis. On FanDuel, power forward eligibility at 9,500, 23% owned. I have more than that. And I have more. No, I do not have more than the 37% of Malik Monk, but I'm pretty close.
And the Kings do get Devin Carter back tonight.
Devin Carter, man, how many? I did not know who this guy was before yesterday, and then I guess he's been killing in the G League. He's Anthony Carter's son, if you know who Anthony Carter is. So a lot of our younger viewers probably don't remember Anthony Carter. That's an OG right there. Let's go to the last game, Lakers Atlanta. So Atlanta, we have some Q tags. I don't know how to talk about this team because it's like one of these guys out just kind of changes everything, right?
Yeah, it does.
So for the DK night slate, luckily we don't have to make those decisions until later. But for FanDuel main, as it is right now, what do I have? I built as if everyone's playing. So we know Larry Nance is out, Kobe Buffkin's out. I don't know if Cody Zeller being out matters, but Jalen Johnson, Trae Young, and Bogdan are all questionable. If they're in, I don't know that we're too interested in this team. But if someone's out, like if Jalen Johnson's out, we know we're very interested in DeAndre Hunter and Trae Young. If Bogdan's out, it is a slight boost to Dyson Daniels. So I don't know. Do you have anything you want to talk about here?
I like Jalen Johnson, and I think Trey's a pretty good GPP play. Pretty much his whole team is, but other than that, not really. I think they both play, and I kind of think Bogdan might sit. But.
Yeah, I will say if they end up playing, they're going to be solo owned over on FanDuel, and there's still strong plays, Jalen Johnson and Trae Young at the top end. So I would like to take shots there. Just they're not going to pull any ownership today.
No.
On the other end with the Lakers, we're anticipating Anthony Davis to play. LeBron's probable. Gabe Vincent's out. It's the only one that matters. So Jackson Hayes started. What did he end up playing minutes? He started off so hot. I was like, oh, nice, dude. Jackson Hayes can save my day. And then, no, he can't.
Yeah, I swapped onto as much Hayes as I could just because I knew I was dead.
Yeah, didn't work out, but Max Christie did. Can't pull up Lakers on here because they're not in the DraftKings slate. But Max Christie, I think he looks great. Ownership is like 1%. Why is it 1%?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't mind getting to Christie, and then that's pretty much all I'm getting to from here except AD, and then I have a couple shares of LeBron.
Yeah, I'm basically on FanDuel just getting to AD and LeBron. Probably got to bump up Reeves, but his price is starting to catch up to his production. 7K on DraftKings on the night slate. It's another lock. Like the night slate on DK tonight is kind of disgusting. You got to find that 1% pivot to mix in with all the chalk.
Yep.
8K Austin Reeves. He is a GPP play with everybody in. His price is up a little bit, but 7%. He's going to come in higher than 7%. He's dropped 50 like 6 games in a row. Anything else on the Lakers?
No, I think that's it.
All right, let's run through some questions real quick.
We're getting some weird stuff right now.
Pistons lineup. They're starting Cunningham, Moore Jr. I don't even know. What is that, Wendell Moore?
Yeah, Wendell. He's pretty productive. But.
Hardaway Jr., Harris Duran. Does that change anything for you on a SAR?
No, not really. I think minutes are still pretty solid.
I think I might reduce him a minute or two, but I'm still going to be interested. Probably not going to be my highest exposed player anymore, though.
No, but Wendell Moore.
Jaylen Brown is out. Kristaps is in. All right, so yeah, quick hitter thoughts on that one.
Peyton Pritchard.
Peyton Pritchard, dude. We played him yesterday, and Smitty. We actually both went to message each other the exact same thing. Pritchard's not chalk today, so we're probably dead. And guess what? we absolutely were.
Yep.
I'm just trying to pull up these usage numbers with Jaylen Brown off.
I assume Sam Hauser starts, and I think he'd be okay to play, but I think there's values with higher ceilings.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard actually plays the most minutes with Brown out. We saw what happened last game. If he was playing well, did he end up closing, though? Did he end up closing?
No, he didn't.
Okay. So we've seen him close in that situation. If he was playing well, maybe he would have. Jason Tatum, 36% usage. Peyton Pritchard, 21% usage. Derek White, 26% usage. Kristaps Porzingis, 29% usage, but it's in way less minutes than everyone else. So that one's going to be the most volatile. But yeah, pretty much everyone on Boston's starting lineup gets a bump. Joval plus Mark Williams on DK. I'm pretty sure that's what my single entry is going to be. I love it. If I don't have Jokic anyway. Luke Kennard. Yeah, we mentioned we like Kennard. Alvarado minutes limit. So we probably can't play him. Just a matter of taking him maybe away a minute or two from DeJounte and CJ. Kuzma at 6,100. If he starts for Bilal, I think we can consider him off the bench. It's going to be really tough. And honestly, even if he's starting, we've seen this before with cheap Kuzma, and he's just not the same player right now.
No.
Getting to Strother at his price. Is someone out? If someone's out, I don't mind mixing him in, but other than that, it's tough. We already have really strong value. I don't think we have to go there. Nick Richards for Charlotte DKGPP. So the model's telling us Mark Williams is one of the top plays on the whole slate. But if you want to pivot to Nick Richards and get that 1% nuke when Mark Williams fails as chalk, I think that's fine. Micic and Seth Green. Micic, Seth, Curry, and then Green are starting. Nice. Yeah, I'll play Micic. Maybe Jayhawk can give us a little more insight once the model updates for that. And then would we limit Keldon Johnson and Castle to one?
I'm
I'm
that's
not
tough.
sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't expect to get a lot of them together, but I would say probably not.
Nope. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. But I don't expect to get many combos with them anyway. So Dylan Brooks or H Jones? I'm gonna just give a quick answer. Flip a coin. Actually, it's pretty close.
Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks was gonna be my answer, but changed my mind at the last second. So any final words, Smitty? We got to get out of here and hand it off to Jayhawk.
No. Just good luck tonight.
Yeah, it's going kind of slow on these shows recently, so end up rushing the end. But hope you guys got what you need. We'll be in the Discord hanging out if there's anything else you want to ask. And hey, we appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.